Good day, I'm Cecil Karen C. Mojica, and for our subject, Advanced Production and Operations Management, MBA 208, I'm going to be reporting Philippine Quality Award for Business Framework, Chapter 15. To give you a background about what the Philippine Quality Award is, the Philippine Quality Award is the highest level of national recognition for exemplary organizational performance. It is equivalent to the very prestigious Baldrige Performance Excellence Program in the US and other national quality awards nationwide. It is established through Executive Order number 448, and this is issued by our former President Fidel V. Ramos on October 3, 1997. The award is given to organizations in the private and public sectors that excel in quality, productivity, and business performance. It was institutionalized through the signing of RA number 9013 on February 28, 2001, which is otherwise known as the Philippine Quality Award Act. The PQA provides an internationally comparable framework and criteria for assessing organizational performance. And it is also a template for competitiveness based on the principles of TQM or Total Quality Management. Well, the award focuses on results, including customer satisfaction. And it is not an award for product quality or service quality, but for a quality management system which hinges on continuous improvement in the delivery of products and or services and provides a way of satisfying and responding to customer needs and requirements. Now, to give you further history of how the PQA was founded, in an era of globalization, the Philippine product and process quality is being challenged strongly by foreign competition, and our nation's productivity growth has improved less than our competitors. And the Philippine business and industry are beginning to understand that poor quality cost companies as much as 20% of sales revenues nationally, and that improved quality of goods and services goes hand in hand with improved productivity, lower costs, and increased profitability. There's also a need for strategic planning for quality and quality improvement programs through a commitment to excellence in manufacturing and services. And yeah, several major industrial nations have successfully coupled rigorous private sector quality audits with national awards, giving special recognition to those enterprises that the audits identify as the very best. So, because of this, a national quality award program of this kind in the Philippines, they thought would help improve quality and productivity by first helping to stimulate local companies to improve quality and productivity. This is for the pride of recognition while obtaining a competitive edge through increased profits. And second, recognizing the achievements of those companies that improve the quality of their goods and services and providing an example to others. Third, establishing guidelines and criteria to be used in evaluating their own quality improvement efforts. And lastly, providing specific guidance for other local organizations that wish to learn how to manage for high quality by making available detailed information on how winning organizations were able to change their cultures and achieve eminence, so it's like sharing their best practices. Because of this, the Philippine Quality Award was established. So, what are the objectives of PQA, or the Philippine Quality Award? One of its objectives is to promote standards on organizational performance comparable to those of leading business or organizations in other countries. This is to compare ourselves to them. And second, to establish a national system for assessing quality and productivity performance in both private and public organizations. So this is not only for the private sector but also for our government units. Third, to reorganize organizations which have achieved exemplary levels of quality and business excellence. And lastly, to reorganize organizations which have achieved exemplary levels of quality and business excellence. Now, to achieve these objectives, you gotta have a framework. So, as for the framework, which you can see here on the slide, uh, it is composed of seven criteria. You can see the leadership, strategic planning, customer focus, workforce focus, operations focus, and results. So let's tackle this uh, components of the framework. The PQA framework provides an integrated approach to organizational performance assessment and management. And it also promotes the delivery of ever improving value to customers and stakeholders, contributing to organizational sustainability. The framework also helps improve overall organizational performance practices, capabilities, and results. And lastly, it promotes organizational and personal learning. Later on in this chapter, we're going to discuss what are these criteria that are indicated on the illustration here. But first, let's check who can apply for uh, a, who can be awarded as PQA recipient. So as you can see here, we have the private sector and the public sector. Applicants to the PQA shall be any organization located in the Philippines engaged in these activities. For the private sector, we have the SMEs and also the large enterprises. And just to let you know, SMEs are enterprises defined under the Magna Carta for small and medium scale enterprises as businesses engaged in manufacturing, services, agriculture, and other industries with not more than 200 full time employees, not more than 100 million uh, peso capitalization. And for the large enterprises, it could be uh, from the manufacturing industry or manufacturing companies or their subsidiaries, and service companies, agricultural sector or agricultural companies, and other industries as well. For the public sector, we have here the departments, the bureaus, and attached agencies. They can also apply uh, for PQ. They can also apply PQA. And GOCCs are government owned and or controlled corporations and subsidiaries. State universities and colleges can also apply. Local government units and other government agencies. As for the other requirements, can the company or the unit must be registered here in the Philippines and in operation for at least 3 years, self-sufficient to be examined in all seven criteria categories. Those are the criteria categories you've briefly seen on the PQA framework. Then they must also be compliant to all relevant and statutory requirements. They must have employees knowledgeable of PQA application development requirements, and they must have conducted an internal assessment based on the applicable PQA criteria. And in case the applicant becomes a recipient of PQA recognition, It must be willing to share its practices in PQA related fora and open its facilities for visits. So it must be willing to share what they've done to acquire that PQA recognition. Now, who awards the who gives the PQA award? These are the agencies or the entities involved in the awarding process. First is the Philippine President or the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Uh, he or she is the patron of the award who approves, announces, and personally confers PQA on national recipients. We also have the TTI Secretary, award manager that is responsible for the conduct of the awards processes and validates and endorses to the president the list of awardees selected by the board of judges. And then we also have the PQA Executive Committee. This is the policy making body of the PQA to ensure the integrity of the award system. The Management Committee, implementing arm, and Secretariat of the PQA Committee, chaired by the DTI Competitiveness Bureau, or they're formerly known as the Center for Industrial Competitiveness. And yung paulit-ulit nating binabanggit, the DTI Competitiveness Bureau, they are the implementing agency of the PQA program that provides necessary technical and administrative support to the award manager and PQA committee and the award administrators for both the private sector and public sector. They screen PQA applications and facilitate the review process and assist in the promotion of the PQA program. And the Board of Judges, of course, they review the feedback reports prepared by the team of assessors and recommends to the award manager the appropriate award and recognition to be given to the applicant organization. Lastly, the team of assessors. They conduct independent assessment, consensus review, and site visit verification. They also prepare and submit the feedback report to the Board of Judges and applicant organization through the award administrator. So they are the entities involved in the award process of the PQA. And to be given to be a recipient of PQA or Philippine Quality Award, they must adhere to these criteria. First, what are the basis of the PQA criteria? The PQA criteria are adapted from the Malcolm Baldrige Quality Award of the United States, the National Quality Awards of other countries, such as the Australian Quality Award, Japan Quality Award, Singapore, and even the European Foundation for Quality Management Award, have adapted the Baldrige criteria framework for international comparability. Now, these criteria are reviewed and updated every 5 years with the basis from the latest version of the Baldrige criteria during the review period. Okay, next. For the performance excellence, this is the award given to business entities by the PQA. So performance excellence is an integrated approach to organizational performance management resulting in, of course, sorry, delivery of increasing value to customers and stakeholders and organizational sustainability, improvement of organizational effectiveness, lastly, organizational and personal learning. So, as for the criteria for performance excellence, the criteria for performance excellence provide organizations with, yes, integrated, results oriented, and these are consisting of seven categories: the leadership, strategy, customer, measurement analysis and knowledge management, workforce and operations results. Yes. Okay. If you can see here closely, these are the seven categories that were mentioned: leadership, strategy, customer, and then integration, and then we have the workforce, operations, and results. Okay. Okay, so let's tackle these seven categories one by one. So you can see here, there's the leadership. Performance excellence requires strong leadership and is demonstrated through outstanding results. So you can see um, leadership on the figure is emphasized here together with the results. And there's also the word integration between the three. Okay, there's also the word integration between the six categories. The word integration at the center of the figure shows that all the elements of the system are interrelated. Now, for the center horizontal arrowheads, they show the critical linkage between the leadership triad, which is the categories 1, 2, and 3, and the results triad, categories 5, 6, and 7, and the central relationship between the leadership and results categories. And if you're going to notice, the center vertical arrowheads point to and from the system foundation. Okay, system foundation, which provides information on and feedback to key processes and the organizational environment. Now, uh, there's also the gray note here, organizational profile. If you notice that, the organizational profile sets the context for your organization. It serves as the background for all that you do in the business. Now, the leadership triad that we have mentioned is composed of the leadership, strategy, and customers. They're all on the left side. The the leadership triad emphasizes the importance of a leadership focus on strategy and customers. Now, for the system foundation, this is beneath the six, measurement, analysis, and knowledge management. The system foundation is critical to effective management and to a fact-based, knowledge-driven, agile system for improving performance and competitiveness. That's why this is on the bottom, on the foundation. Now, for the results triad, which is on the right side of this figure. They're composed of the workforce, operations, and results. The results triad includes your workforce focused processes, your key operational processes, and the performance results they yield. So, yielding performance results. Okay. And all of these are built on a set of core values and concepts, which we will also tackle on the next slide. Okay, so we have here 11 core values and concepts, which the criteria are built on. Okay, if you can see, there's the system's perspective. It's when your organization takes a system perspective, your senior leaders focus on strategic directions and customers. Your senior leaders monitor, respond to, and manage performance based on the results you're giving them. And with the system's perspective, you use your measures, indicators, core competencies, and organizational knowledge to build your key strategies. Then you link these strategies with your work systems and key processes and align your resources to improve your overall performance, your focus on customers and stakeholders. At the top, we have the visionary leadership. Now, your organization senior leaders should set a vision for the organization, create a customer focus, demonstrate clear and visible organizational values and ethics, and then set high expectations for the workforce, for everyone. The vision, values, and expectations should balance the needs of all your stakeholders and also um, the people behind the company. And then your leader should also ensure the creation of these strategies, systems, and methods for building knowledge and capabilities, stimulating innovation, requiring accountability, achieving performance excellence, and thereby ensuring ongoing organizational success. Next core value and concept is the customer focused excellence. Now, customer focused excellence, it has both current and future components. Understanding today's customer desires and then anticipating future customer desires and marketplace potential. Next is valuing people, of course. An organization's success depends on an engaged workforce that benefits from meaningful work, clear organizational direction, the opportunity to learn, and accountability for performance. So, the people should be engaged and responsible. Everyone in the company should be responsible as everyone is part of the workforce. Next is organizational learning and agility. Success in today's ever changing, globally competitive environment demands continual organizational learning and agility. Agility requires a capacity for rapid change and for flexibility in operations so that we'd always be at the top of the game. Organizations face ever shorter cycles for introducing new or improved products and services, especially that we are in the age of digitalization. So our core processes are now heavily relying on digital processes or digital systems. Thus, they need to include both continuous improvement of existing approaches and significant change or innovation, leading to new goals, approaches, products, and markets. Next is the focus on success. I think, yeah, uh, each and every one of us should be focused on success. And how do we do this? Ensuring your organization's success now and in the future requires an understanding of the short and longer term factors that affect your organization and its marketplace. Next is managing for innovation. The ability to rapidly disseminate and capitalize on new and accumulated knowledge is critical to driving organizational innovation. This to manage innovation, we should always be striving for organizational learning and agility. The next is management by fact. This requires you to measure and analyze your organization's performance, both inside the organization and in your competitive environment. Measurements should derive from business needs and strategy, and they should also provide critical data and information. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, next is the societal responsibility. Your organization should meet all local and national laws and regulatory requirements and should also treat these and related requirements as opportunities to excel beyond minimal compliance. And then considering societal well being benefit means leading and supporting within the limits of your resources. Of course, the environmental, social, and economic systems in your organization's sphere of influence. And this topic should also not be disregarded by companies. Ethics and transparency. This should always be part of our core values. Well, ethical behavior and transparency build trust in the organization and a belief in its fairness and integrity that is valued by all key stakeholders. Then, lastly, delivering value and results. By delivering value to key stakeholders, your organization builds loyalty, contributes to growing the economy, and most importantly, contributes to our society. So those are the core values that the criteria, that the seven categories are built on. Now, the seven PQA criteria for performance excellence categories are subdivided into items and areas to address. There are 17 criteria items plus two in the organizational profile, and each of them have a particular focus. These items are divided into three groups according to the kind of information they ask for. So for the organizational profile, they ask you to define your organizational environment. Then we also have the process items, categories 1 to 6. They ask you to define your organization's processes. And for the results item, category 7, they ask you to report results for your organization's process with respect to categories 1 to 6. Now, what are the PQA criteria for performance excellence? As we have mentioned, aside from the 17 criteria items, there are two additional for the organizational profile. Organizational profile, this is a snapshot of your organization. This is the key influence on how your organization operates in your competitive environment. Now, under organizational profile, we ask um, the uh, the company or the institution several questions. Now, for the organizational description, the question we ask is, what are your key organizational characteristics? Now, for the organizational situation, the question is, what is your organization's strategic situation? So, under organizational profile, the company or the institution should be able to answer those questions. On the next criteria, we have the leadership. Okay, the leadership category asks how senior leaders' personal actions guide and sustain your organization. It also asks about your organization's governance system and how your organization fulfills its ethical, legal, and societal responsibilities. So, here, the way leadership is exercised formally and informally throughout the organization, and the basis for key decisions in the way they are made, communicated, and carried out. So, with leadership, you'd be able to employ these processes. Now, leadership is given 120 points, and sorry, senior leadership is given 70 points, but you'd have to be able to answer the question, how do your senior leaders lead the organization? Second, is given 50 points, governance and societal responsibilities. How do you govern your organization and fulfill your societal responsibilities? Another criteria is the strategy, which is given 85 points. Now, under strategy, there are two items, strategy development and strategy implementation. For strategy development, we must ask our organization, how do you develop your strategy? This is given 45 points. And how do you implement your strategy? So 40 points. You must be able to show the correlation between the development and the implementation of your strategy. For the next criteria is the customers, which is given 85 points, same with strategy. Now, Customers category asks how your organization engages its customers for long term marketplace success, including how your organization listens to the voice of the customers, builds customer relationships, and use customer information to improve and to identify opportunities for innovation. Actually, the last part, getting the customer information for business improvement, is the most common, but for listening to the voice of the customer, not all companies, not all companies uh, comply to this. That's why, for the voice of the customer, you should be able to answer how do you obtain information from your customers. Of course, it has to be ethical, and you must prove that they are really listened to. Under customers or under this criteria, this is given 40 points. Now, for the customer engagement, how do you engage customers? By serving their needs and building relationships. Can you keep a long term relationship with your customers? This is given 45 points, so total of 85 points. Now, for measurement analysis and knowledge management, this is given 90 points. The measurement, analysis, and knowledge management category asks how your organization selects, gathers, analyzes, manages, and improves its data information and knowledge assets, how it learns, and how it manages information technology. The category also asks how your organization uses review findings to improve its performance. How do you get the data? How do you process the information and then turn it into knowledge and then wisdom? And under this criteria are two items. By the way, this is given 90 points. No, yeah, under this criteria, we have the measurement, analysis, and improvement of organizational performance, where you should be able to answer the question, how do you measure, analyze, and then improve organizational performance? This is kind of similar to DMAIC, which stands for define, measure, analyze, improve, and then control. And then another item under it is knowledge management, information, and information technology. Now, how do you manage your organizational knowledge assets, information, and information uh, technological infrastructure? So, uh, both of these items get 45 points, so total of 90 points for this criteria. Next is the workforce conceptual framework. The workforce category asks how your organization assesses workforce capability and capacity, and it also builds a workforce environment conducive to high performance. This category also asks how your organization engages, manages, and develops your workforce to utilize its full potential in alignment with your organization's overall performance or organizational needs. So as you can see here, this is uh, there are different levels here. For the first level, we have the compliance driven HR services and fundamental HR services, strategic HR department, and the business integrated HR. So this is just a conceptual framework. Under workforce, which is given 85 points, we have the workforce environment and the workforce engagement. How do you build an effective and supportive workforce environment in your workplace? Do you have a supportive workforce environment? And how do you engage your workforce to achieve a high performance work environment? How do you support your workforce? Or do you even support them so that they could perform properly? Then operations.
The operations category asks how your organization designs, manages, improves, and innovates its products and work processes and improves operational effectiveness to deliver customer value and achieve ongoing organizational successes. Uh, Business operation is ever changing, so um, this should be vital and sorry, innovation should always be tackled under operations. And under operations, we have the work processes and the operational effectiveness. You must always gauge your operational effectiveness. By the way, under operational effectiveness, you should be able to answer the question, how do you ensure effective management of your operations? And for work processes, how do you design? How do you manage and improve your key products and work processes? So that's a total of 85 points, 45 points for the first item, and then 40 points for the second item. Now, for the results, it has a total of 450 points because results asks about performance levels relative to those of competitors and other organizations with similar product offerings. So, for product and process results, what are your product performance and process effectiveness results? What are your customer focused performance results for customer focused results? And what are your workforce focused performance results? What are your senior leadership and governance results? And then what are your financial and market performance results? This part reflects the first to sixth categories. That's why this is given 450 points. Okay, and that's it for the criteria for the for Philippine Quality Awards criteria for business framework. Again, this is Cecil Karen Mojica. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.